Hello, everyone. I'm Sneha Lambari, the Regional Client Service Leader at CDM Smith and a co-momentum leader of IBTTA DEI Committee's Recognitions Group. Welcome to the third episode of our Spotlight series, where we highlight diversity, equity, and inclusion in the tolling industry. Today, we are excited to have James Hofmann, Executive Director of North Texas Tollway Authority and the first Vice President of IBTTA with us. James, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Sneha. I'm happy to be here. So I look forward to talking with you this morning because you always bring a smile to my face and I enjoy our conversations.
It's great to have you here, James. Let's dive right in. Can you tell us what inspired you to pursue a leadership role within IBTTA and what are your key priorities for the organization during your term?
Yeah, absolutely, Sneha. I always was taught growing up, if there's something that is worthwhile, you need to kind of roll your sleeves up and jump in. And so I've been associated over the last 20 years with IBTTA for about 15 years, more actively. Started off just going to conferences, then started off with doing a few presentations and then volunteering. And then it started to where I would be voluntold, right? I would be called up and said, hey, we want you to do this. We want you to do that. And then I had a group of individuals kind of come around me and say, would you be interested in a board position? And encouraged me to apply to the board. I was able to be accepted for that role. And then for the executive team, which starts the process of the second vice president all the way up to hopefully the president, right? It actually took me 3 tries to get onto the executive team. And to be honest with you, I almost didn't submit my application the 3rd time. But IBTTA is a great, wonderful organization where people will come around you and they'll support you, whether you need something in the professional or personal life. And I had just a number of people that I really even didn't interact with very often that came around and just said, hey, do it one more time. And I was blessed to be selected the 3rd time. So that's kind of how I made my way. You just kind of put your toe in and then you just step forward and get involved more and more. And for next year, this will be the first time in our history where we have a new CEO at the same time we're working on a strategic plan. So we have a wonderful opportunity for all of us next year to help kind of look at the future of what I call already a wonderful association. And so there's going to be opportunities beginning in October and going through next year to where the membership base, committees, leadership, IBTTA staff are all going to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about what they think the future of IBTTA needs to be. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it'll lay a great groundwork for the next 5 years, beginning with Joy and the first year in 2026 for her implementing our strategic plan.
Well, we are really excited to hear about the strategic plan and what lies ahead of us for sure. So during the Leadership Academy, James, I remember you shared some heartfelt personal stories that really made a lasting impact on the Sweet 16 class. Can you share how your personal experiences and values, especially those shaped by your family, have influenced your leadership style and approach in the industry?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was an honor to talk to the Leadership Academy class. And I know one of the things you guys were focusing on was being vulnerable. And so, with that, I kind of stepped into something that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, which is to be a little bit vulnerable. So, yeah, you heard me in that class say that when I introduced myself, I didn't introduce myself as the second vice president or the first vice president. I didn't introduce myself as the CEO of NTTA. I introduced myself as Sarah's wife, as Sarah's husband. And a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. So there was a lot of growth and things that have happened over this last 18 months that have kind of shaped and changed my perspective. So, and you'll hear that when we talk about the leadership style. But going back to being a kid, my parents pushed me, right? They saw something in me and they pushed me. And that really gave me this sense of don't be complacent. Always look for a way to improve. You know, just good enough is not something that I will ever embrace. I'm always looking for how can we move the needle? How can we do something different? How can we do something that maybe has never been done before? And so that's pushed me very hard. And many times I've focused extensively on work. Now, before my wife and I got married, she made it clear that she was not interested in a career, a traditional workplace career, that she wanted to focus on raising, hopefully, our children and all of that. So we had the understanding that the financial responsibility for our family would fall on my shoulders. And I took that very seriously. But when I say don't be complacent and always strive to make things better or what have you, I did that in my work life. I didn't do that in my family life. And I didn't do that with her. And it was to the detriment of her and our marriage and at various times. And so the other part of don't be complacent is find a balance. Find a balance to focus on what's really important as well. All right. And I've really, that's an area that I think I've grown tremendously in the last 18 months on. I will tell you, next year will be a challenge because I've got my day job with NTTA, and then I've got IBTTA in the after hours. And I'm the type that I roll my sleeves up and I get involved. But that's also why you're starting to see her come to these conferences. It's that we're trying to find a balance. So the second thing is embrace being uncomfortable. A lot of the decisions that leaders have to make aren't black and white. They're in a gray zone, and many people don't like to make decisions when they either can't clearly foresee what the future or the outcome is going to look like, or may not feel real comfortable that they understand everything that they're trying to have to make a decision on. But as a leader, you have to make a decision. So you got to be comfortable working in the gray zone. Secondly, in that gray zone, you have to be comfortable making the decision that may not be the popular decision. It may not be the recommended from your advisors or from your executive team or from your leadership team, but you're in a leadership role for a reason. And sometimes you've got to make decisions based upon my third value, which is trust your gut, trust your instincts. And I haven't always done that, both in my professional and personal life over the years. I'm doing that more and more often now. I'm trusting my gut and my instincts because there were times in both sides that I knew something wasn't right and I ignored it, and I shouldn't have. And so I don't do that anymore. I've realized I've got a good instinct, and I think a lot of us do. And then the last one, it takes a team. We've always heard it takes a village to raise, a children up, right? But it takes a team to get things done. And a team brings different experiences, different insights, different strengths, different perspectives. And we can't do it all ourselves. We definitely don't know the answers, and we don't even know all the questions to ask. So build a team around you. And surround you with people that are going to want to be successful, that are going to want to challenge the norm, that aren't afraid to speak up. And I've done that over the years. I've been put on teams. I've been a member of a team, and I've also led teams. And the teams and their commitment to doing whatever the task was has been instrumental in helping me move through my career and also helping me move through IBTTA. Right? I mean, I've been in some leadership roles in IBTTA, but I didn't do all the work. Many times I didn't do much of the work. It's the team. So yeah, it's build that team and be a good team member.
I love it. Exactly what you said. Embrace the uncomfortable. That's where the most growth happens. And this kind of leads us perfectly to our next topic. What qualities do you believe are most important for future leaders in the tolling industry to cultivate? And how can they best prepare for the challenges ahead?
So I've got kind of 4 items that jump out on the first one and 2 on the best challenges ahead. So I'll try to be brief. So following up on what we had just talked about, be a great team member. right? You can be an expert in something, but if you're a bad team member, your impact's going to be minimalized or marginalized. And you see that a lot of times in sports. You'll see an all-star, somebody who is exceptional at what they do, jump from team to team to team. It's because they're a bad team member and they really are a distraction. And so one of the things that I try to instill in especially new directors that join NTTA, no one of us is important than anybody else on team NTTA. And we need to make sure that everybody from me and the executive team down to those that are part-timers or interns or our janitors feel welcomed and feel valued. So be a great team member. The second one is accept people for who they are and what they bring to the table. So value the merit that they bring to the table, right? And embrace that. And our collective experiences will make us stronger. And I see that play out time and time again when we're looking at different customer service strategies or collection strategies or communication strategies. By having an eclectic, diverse group of people and experiences and age groups and ethnicities and all of that at the table, we will make the best decision that we can possibly do. The third one's communicate well, and that's hard, especially today, because people don't listen. Right? They're already formulating their thoughts, already formulating their responses, but you have to communicate well. And then the last one here, self-awareness. I'm starting to see less and less of this, unfortunately. And so we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and we all make mistakes. We need to understand who we are. We need to understand what we bring to the table. And we need to understand what our limitations are, right? So you had mentioned earlier, basically go out on a limb, but you don't want to go too far out on that limb for the detriment of the team, right? And so challenge yourselves, but also realize where your limitations are. So those are kind of the four things that I would say that jumped out at me when I was thinking through this question. Then the last two for the challenges of head. One of them, I think, is you need to become an expert in something, but you need to be curious about the industry at large. Meaning, to be a leader, there's got to be something that's unique about you that you bring to the table. And you can't understand it all. It's getting to be, transportation industry is going to become too complex. You just can't. You got to specialize in something. But if you aren't asking questions and curious about the engineering, the planning, the financing, the communications, the government affairs, and whatever, your value in a leadership role starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So have that curiosity and that desire to learn everything you can about the industry. And then the last one, this is something that I've grown on this year as well. Obstacles and challenges today, I used to kind of go up and down, right? My attitude, whatever, would be up and down based upon whatever's presenting itself. And this last year, kind of 18 months, I've realized the obstacles and the challenges, whether they're people or projects or processes or the media or what have you, they're opportunities for us to build into our skill sets, into how we respond for something that's greater that's yet to come, right? They're training us and teaching us and equipping us with what we need for whatever is out there. There's a greater purpose than what we're doing. Being in the role that I am with NTTA and IBTTA is not the full purpose of why I'm on this earth. There's something else. And so the challenges that try and understand that the challenges that I face today are preparing me for something in the future that's going to be great. It's equipping me for what I need in the future. So that's what I would say, kind of as we look at the challenges ahead, become an expert, but also be curious, and then also look at challenges today as there are opportunities to equip us for something bigger and better in the future.
these are such invaluable qualities, and it's very important and to learn from you as we guide our next generation. So thank you for sharing your insights and advice, James. And for everyone watching, don't forget to visit the DEI committee webpage to learn more about our work and initiatives. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneal.